What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 35 of the Game Room Podcast. I'm your host, Rome, alongside my co-host, Dev.
What's up?
And producer Jeff is here as well. How are you guys doing tonight?
Excellent.
Awesome.
Enjoying the storm?
Yeah, loving the storm. Someone played the Song of Storms, Came right in. Big storm, huge storm here on the East Coast. But until the power goes out, we will be talking about video games. Got a lot to talk about. Red Dead Redemption, The Legend of Zelda, Pokémon. Presents us tomorrow, and we're going to be talking about that as well. Let's get into the news headlines. Number one on the headlines is a follow-up to what we were talking about last week.
Mm-hmm.
So, Devroro, if you recall, Hasbro, they were like, yeah, we want, when the Activision deal goes through and they're bought by Microsoft, we want the old Transformer games to be on Game Pass and be brought back. But unfortunately, Activision lost the file.
Yeah.
Well, Lulu Cheng Meservey of Activision has said, these headlines are wrong. We have the code. It's not lost, and it never was.
Thank God.
Yeah, which I was like, okay, that's good to know. It's good to know that Activision is just on brand and that they just don't care to preserve these games. They were just like, oh, we have it. Didn't care enough to utilize it. Hasbro put out an apology.
No one was asking for it. Now that Xbox has it, just...
Well, now people are going to ask for it.
When Xbox has it. Yeah.
So, Hasbro also did put out a statement saying, to clarify, comments that suggest Transformers games have been lost were made in error. Hasbro's official statement reads, we apologize to Activision and regret any confusion. They've been great partners, and we look forward to future opportunities to work together. This just sounds like PR. It's like someone at a con who didn't have the right to say anything was just like, yeah, Activision lost it. But... Number two on the headlines, we have an update on EA Sports' return to college football. During a Q&A as part of its Q1 2024 earnings call, the publisher's execs were asked for an update on the game's progress. CEO Andrew Wilson replied by saying the development team has made some incredible progress. He added, that the team's doing an incredible job building out what will be the future of college football. Gameplay is really coming together and really capturing all of the action and pageantry and the difference in college football versus the NFL. I feel really confident in what the team's doing. We're working through the license situation broadly. As of now, we've got many, if not most of the schools licensed as part of our licensing platform. We'll continue to work with the various governing bodies of the sport in the country and some key third-party partners we have around how and when to include college athletes themselves into the game, and will work very closely with them. But I'm confident that this is an incredible reemergence of that college football experience, that it will capture all of the action and pageantry driven by the schools and all that goes with the schools in the context of the game. He also goes on to add that, and I do believe that we'll find a place where we can work in lockstep with the athletes for inclusion in the game as well. Now, Deborah, in case you're not aware, in sports gaming and football games specifically, EA used to make the NCAA games along with Madden.
Mm-hmm.
And the NCAA games considered to be the best football games that EA Sports has ever made. So they kind of stopped doing them a few years back for a number of reasons. One, it's EA, they're lazy. Number two, there was issues with paying the college athletes. That's a big thing in college sports.
Yeah,
like, should the athlete get paid? Like, they're there for college. Like, it's a whole big thing. But so I think that this is a step in the right direction to get this game out. And I like that they're not... The fact that we've been waiting a few years for this game makes me feel actually kind of good about it, knowing that they're not just kind of slapping Madden with a college football.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's great. Jeff, do you have anything to add here with the NCAA update?
I'm still waiting to see what happens. I want to see what these players get paid for their names and likeness in the game.
And hopefully the gameplay is good as well. Like, could be half-assing a game just to put.
Yeah,
we got to get coach's opinion on this one.
I know. I forgot to message him to tell him to be here tonight. He might be busy though. Anyways, let's move on to number 3 on the headlines. There's also some EA news sticking in that realm. EA is talking about Battlefield, saying that the next Battlefield is a reimagination of the game, of the series. Andrew Wilson has, also spoke on Battlefield during the earnings call. His comments have stirred up quite the discussion online. After all, Battlefield 2042 was meant to be a reimagination of the franchise, too. All-out warfare and massive scale were mentioned in the build-up to 2042's release, and whilst technically EA did deliver on those buzzwords, the game failed to resonate with players and was considered a huge flop. It was. Yeah. Battlefield 2042 was a game that I was so in on going into launch.
Yeah, everything they showed before launch was really cool.
It looked incredible.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And
it looked like a Battlefield game.
It looked like War of the Game. That's what I want. And man, it just didn't deliver on many.
Needed it at least another year.
Yeah. Oddly enough, it's actually in a really good state right now.
Yeah, I've heard, these live service games, people aren't going to stick around to wait for the game to get good. You got to launch good. If you don't launch good, it doesn't matter.
I agree. Halo took a whole year.
You can't rely on Twitch streamers and YouTubers to be like, "Hey, the game's good now. I promise."
Right. Yeah.
I just read an article today that said Halo Infinite is.
Oh yeah, great. We've reported on the stuff that they've brought to it, the Forge and all that stuff, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Continuing on after. However, to give EA the benefit of the doubt, we think the reimagination here is referring to new Battlefield team and EA's plan to have multiple studios working on multiple Battlefield projects, speculates Insider Gaming. After Battlefield 2042's release, DICE had a major shakeup with Respawn's Vince Zampella taking on a bigger role as the new overall boss of the Battlefield franchise, while Halo designer Marcus Leto is building a new development team in Seattle focused on injecting more storytelling into the Battlefield universe. That would be Ripple Effect, the developer of 2042's Portal mode, is developing a new Battlefield experience in the 2042 universe, reported by GameSpot earlier this year. Battlefield's future is seemingly a number of different games and experiences integrated under one roof, and whilst it's easy to get caught up in the marketing speak, this reimagination is just another way of stating that we've already heard following 2042's launch. Now, Dev,
I did hear a lot of good things about Portal, right?
Yeah,
Portal mode was but it was just the old games, right? If I was correct.
Yeah. So I think for me, when it comes down to Battlefield, what I want out of Battlefield as a franchise is I want to feel like I am thrown into the middle of an actual real battlefield. Pun intended, I guess. Where it's like, I want to feel like I'm on the lines with, in the trenches with guys just fighting against another army. And I want the scale to be there. I want the to run well. Obviously, Battlefield's always taken pride in its graphical fidelity. I would like to see that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in terms of scale, I understand how it's hard to hit. But I think that straying away from Battlefield and what makes Battlefield, like my favorite Battlefield game was 1942, the Xbox 360 arcade game. So like, I don't even need it to be like the most, you know what I mean? Like it's just it's very bare bones 1942 or 1943. What's going on to Joshua Sturt in the chat? Hi, what's up, Joshua? How are you doing? Scarlet Violet DLC. Yep.
Sleep.
I think we're definitely going to see that tomorrow, but we're going to be talking about that later in the Pokemon Presents in general, so please stick around.
I had to just look it up, but a bunch of Battlefield devs left, made their own company and their own game called The Finals. I don't know if you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And that game looks really good. It looks like a smaller scale of what Battlefield is. A lot of destruction, a lot of creation as well.
Right.
So who knows? Who knows where?
You know what the craziest thing about Battlefield for me is that BattleBit game that just came out that does what Battlefield does but better in a Minecraft format. Like that's wild how good that game is.
Yeah. I think it's just a bunch of enthusiasts to make.
Yep.
I get the feeling of Battlefield back.
Yeah. I mean, again, like it's just the spirit, and then and that's the thing about these games and these franchises that we talk about. That and we're gonna be talking actually about Final Fantasy in a little bit, where it's just like just stick to that core of what makes it feel like that franchise. Do new things, but try not to alienate your audience. Speaking of awesome games, next up on the headlines, Devroro, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom did very well.
Yeah.
As of June 30th, 2023, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has sold 18.51 million units worldwide, which is less than 2 months since launch. For comparison, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sold over 30 million copies over the last 6 years. Tears of the Kingdom has sold nearly 2/3 of Breath of the Wild sales in less than 2 months, and we're not even in the holiday season.
Yeah. It's awesome.
That's crazy.
Now, Devroro, you're still working on Tears of the Kingdom. You didn't get to play this week, so you don't really have any updates.
No,
But you'll get there hopefully
one day.
And
someday.
and that's not real time, you know what I mean? That's somebody in the comments was like, real time, it's over 20 already.
Oh yeah, that's very true. That's like that was June 30th, so over a month ago.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely insane.
It's more of, I mean, we'll talk about it more in another episode, but Game of the Year contender, because I think Hogwarts Legacy is still the best-selling game this year, and people are really like Baldur's Gate 3. I don't know if you have anything news related for Baldur's Gate 3, but it looks really, really good.
So I don't have anything in the news headlines, but I mean, yeah, it's doing very well. A lot of people are playing it. A lot of people into it.
Looks
Good to
really
see.
good. Yeah.
Number 5 on the headlines. Microsoft has made it easier for you to repair your broken Xbox controllers. The following comes from IGN. If you have a broken Xbox controller or Elite Series 2 controller and feel bold enough to repair it yourself, Microsoft has just made buying genuine parts a lot easier. As reported by The Verge, Microsoft now sells replacement parts on the official Microsoft store, including thumbsticks, buttons, and top case covers. Previously, if you broke a button on your thumbstick, suffered from drift, you had to either rely on parts made from third-party retailers or just outright buy a new controller. The latter, of course, was more costly. Prices for replacement parts vary depending on the part itself and which controller you are trying to fix. The top case for the Elite Series 2 controller is $6 more than the standard Xbox wireless controller for. There's also an added caveat for the top case, as only the black and white are available. Despite this, Microsoft's variety of replacement parts is more robust compared to its competitor Sony, which only sells first-party replacement thumbsticks for its high-end controller, the DualSense Edge. Selling official replacement parts is an ongoing trend for the company, as it began a similar service for Microsoft Surface devices earlier this year. It also struck a deal with the activist group As You Sow in 2021, with Microsoft agreeing to expand repair options and allow its customers to exercise their right to DIY repair their devices. This is just another little awesome thing that Xbox is doing right now, and I commend them for it. I think this is like really nice. So you said you've had 2 broken controllers. I remember we used to take our controllers to Game Zombie before they closed down, and that controller that I had fixed with the thumbstick, it was never the same. It didn't really it worked, but it didn't feel right.
The same place, they didn't fix my controller. Like,
did you take it to them?
Yeah, we took. Yeah,
what happened?
Paid them. Then I think they probably fixed one thing and broke another thing or something like that. Like,
so I love how they mentioned if you want to be brave enough to try to fix your own controller, because I actually did this with the third-party parts, and it is way easier than you would ever imagine. I recommend anybody who has a broken controller, you could go on Amazon right now and get a thumbstick. If you have a bad thumbstick, you can get one for like $10. Maybe it might be 20 now after COVID and all the inflation and all that, but it's so easy, it's not even funny. I was so glad I did it to my controller. I'll probably never buy a new controller until this thing completely stops working.
What up to Ty in the chat? Ty is here. What's going on, man? How are you doing tonight?
Yeah, I fixed all 4 of my Nintendo Switch controllers drift. Yeah, and it was super simple. It's cool they're selling parts. Do it themselves.
All right. Moving on. Number 7 on the headlines. Oh wait, no, hold on. Number 6 on the headline. Xbox is letting players stream their gameplay directly to Discord. The feature rolling out to Xbox Insider members on the Alpha Skip Ahead and Alpha Rings yesterday, it was, so they can test it and make sure it's working properly. Once testing is complete, Xbox will then roll out the feature to all owners of the consoles. It says it will be coming soon for everyone. According to a post on the official Xbox Wire blog, players will be able to stream games to their Discord friends by simply choosing the Stream Your Game option. To get started, you can join voice channels from your Discord servers directly from your Xbox console. When your Discord account is linked, the article explains. Try it, press the Xbox button on your controller, open the guide, scroll to Parties and Chats, select Discord. Then scroll through your available Discord servers and pick a voice channel and start streaming. I think that this is a really cool feature that I didn't really ever think that they would bring to it. I think that that's really cool just to be able to stream right to Discord. What do you think?
I mean, I honestly thought that was already a thing because of how they integrated Discord to Xbox so quickly and so seamlessly. But yeah, that's cool. It's another feature.
Yeah. Ty says he got Starfield pre-ordered. Baldur's Gate may be great, but Starfield will be 100. I'm with you, man.
I hope so.
I also have Starfield pre-ordered. I have the 5-day early access edition. Comes with a steel book, and premium content, and then 5 days early.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't pre-order anymore. Hype kill you, but
I really just have so much faith in. Like if I'm wrong, if I end up being wrong about Starfield, I'll sit on here.
You can't be hyped for something and not. I feel like that comes hand in hand.
Yeah, I mean it's part of being a fan. You know what I mean? When you're into it, you're into it. But I'm with Ty, man. The hype is real. We are under a month to go. I am not starting any long games for the next month. I'm gonna be kind of working my way through. Right now, I'm playing Resident Evil 4 Remake. Really enjoying it so far. That's not a game that I expect to take probably more than a week. We'll see what happens. So yeah, enjoying myself. Number 7. Jeff, you can look away. You don't need to look at this. I understand.
I'm actually happy about this. They didn't belong here.
Well, GameStop is bailing on crypto a year after adoption. Video game retailer GameStop is pulling the plug on its cryptocurrency wallet just over a year after it first adopted. According to a notice on GameSpot's Web3 hub, the company is removing its wallets from the market on November 1st of this year due to regulatory uncertainty of the crypto space. Customers, I mean, bro, I'm right there with them. Customers will be able to recover their account in compatible wallets as long as they have access to their secret passphrase to unlock it. GameStop first entered the crypto space last May with its self-custodial crypto wallet system. Not long after, launched an NFT marketplace through Australian blockchain startup Immutable X. Devroro. It's all coming together. There it is. The NFT store received immediate criticism at launch for its weak offering of interesting NFTs and a seemingly lack of money to be made, as well as reportedly selling NFT games without the permission of their creators. The company continues to run their NFT storefront even as it winds down its crypto wallet. However, it appears to have stagnated after GameStop said in an earnings call last December it would be paring back these ventures as well, after another quarter of massive net losses. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a believer in much of these things.
Dude, I don't understand what they were thinking, even trying to get into this space in the first place. You're a video game store. Getting into the crypto makes zero sense to me.
I think they were riding a wave.
They were chasing a trend.
Yeah, but I think more than that, they were riding a wave of the whole stock market thing that happened, and they thought they could jump in. Mm-hmm. Crypto's kind of a cousin to that, so I think they could ride a wave with that.
Yeah, realize.
Oh yeah, we're still a failing company.
Fail.
I mean, I get it. They're trying different things. They want to try to stay afloat and they want to try to make profits. So I get it. I can't fully knock them for it, admittedly.
Ooh.
Number 8 on the headlines: Lego Animal Crossing sets are coming next year, according to a Lego insider.
Didn't know this. Sounds awesome.
The claim was originally posted on Instagram by Lego leaker Extra Bricks Lego Go. That's a great name, Extra Bricks Lego Go. And then was backed by YouTuber Brick Clicker. These are really cool names. I like these Lego community names. Cool. It relates to 5 sets which have been discovered on Brick, a site which runs a bot that discovers new Lego sets as soon as they're listed. Although Brickmerge simply lists the sets by their product numbers, which run from 77046 to 77050, provides no further information, it's since been claimed by the leakers that they're the Animal Crossing sets. The 5 sets will be priced as follows: $14.99, $19.99, $29.99, $39.99, and $74.99. It's also claimed that the sets will be released in March 2024, and that the character minifigs will have special molded heads like Lego Sonic, Simpsons, instead of standard Lego heads.
So please don't tell Purpleness about this, please.
Yeah, I feel like you're gonna end up getting one of these.
All of them.
Oh, we're gonna have all of them. They will. I see it. I can already see it.
add up the prices, and that's total.
I think.
So I wonder if this is related at all to like, you remember maybe it was earlier this year or last year, the big like, oh, Nintendo's putting out a Lego set. And everyone immediately thought Zelda. Zelda was the first thing everyone thought. So I wonder if this is related to that. And I don't know. This is kind of cool.
It's always been really interesting to me about how much Nintendo. Oh no, Jeff, get out of there! Look in the chat there. Oh no!
No.
It's over, dog. It's over. Anyways, I've always been really intrigued by how protective Nintendo is of specifically The Legend of Zelda. People have been begging for Legend of Zelda Lego sets for years.
Mhm.
There is a place where you can go to submit official things to Lego.
Yeah, that was the number
and
one.
Every single year, somebody comes up with this beautiful Zelda set. It gets enough signatures, it goes in for certification, and it gets turned down because Nintendo said no. And it's just like, so you let Mario get a Lego set, and now you're going to let Animal Crossing get a Lego set. I really wonder what the thing is here. I mean, I get it. Legend of Zelda, best games of all time, hands down.
But as we all
not
know,
for debate.
Nintendo hates money. You know,
It's really odd how much they hate.
yeah.
As we're probably going to see at the Pokemon Present.
Oh yeah.
They really hate money. More on the Pokemon Present later. Stick around, please. Number 9. This is so I thought about whether I wanted to include this or not because it's very loosely related to games, but I decided to keep it in because it's kind of a crazy story, especially if you've seen the footage of everything that went down.
Yeah.
So over this past week, popular streamer Kai Cenat, so he goes, I don't even need the whole thing, but so he goes and does this live stream, right? And he basically announces a huge giveaway on his channels, and he says go to Union Square Park in New York City, 4 p.m. Eastern, with promises of free PlayStation 5s, plural, and other gaming items, including gift cards, etc., etc. So people begin to populate in the area for over an hour before the giveaway was set to begin, and numerous videos of the event showing massive crowds and unruly behavior, such as climbing buildings and moving vehicles, throwing objects, and densely packed crowds. Both the NYPD official Twitter account and the New York City Public Transit Twitter account warned the public to avoid the area. Cenat posted a brief video of the event where he and his crew spoke from inside a vehicle before exiting into the crowd, where they were quickly surrounded by people. Other videos posted to social media show the massive crowds, people swarming Cenat's vehicle, and Cenat eventually being taken into police custody. NBC reports that an estimated 1,000 police officers were called in to respond to the situation, and states that Cenat and numerous others were arrested. So, Devroro, did you happen to catch like a lot of the footage from what happened?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of it. It was very dumb on his part. I think he underestimated how many people were going to show. I mean, he's the biggest Twitch streamer out there.
Is he?
Yeah, he.
Okay.
I don't know if he.
I've never heard of
He's
him
one of their
before.
top.
Yeah, for a while he was number one. I don't know if he still has the number one spot, but he was there for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an absolutely boneheaded move.
Yeah, it was definitely. He should have known. He should have had permits. He should have had all this stuff. I think he was trying to do something cool, and it definitely he's young and dumb.
He's like, hey, why don't everyone show up in New York City, Union Square, whatever, and we're gonna give out some PS5. Yeah, I thought this was I think it's not a good look.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. Like I've seen some of his stuff.
Did you see the video of him like speeding away and like people were hanging
trying
on
to get
car?
out? Yeah, because
like someone fell off the car.
Yeah.
So sadly, I think this is going to lead to new laws being made against IRL live streaming, like walking around in public live streaming yourself, because it's actually been causing a lot of problems. Like people get stalked on their live streams, and I've seen a whole bunch of guys have problems, but I've never seen anything like that. That was crazy.
Same thing with swatting. I'm surprised like swatting's a big deal with that kind of thing, and like.
Oh yeah, and TJ says it's the management company that's dealing with it. They're probably going to get in trouble as well. They should have absolutely known that was coming.
Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, he's going to have charges against them. I think inciting a riot, at least one of the charges, many of the charges he's going to have. But yeah, he'll probably get off.
Somebody at the management company could easily take the fall. Be like, no, we told him to do it. Fine us.
That's true.
But way it goes, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see.
Probably can't have nice things.
Yeah, for real. That's
the kid shouldn't spend any time in jail or anything.
Footage,
obviously,
I was watching the footage of the people that showed up to this event, and I was just like, what a bunch of idiots! Like, I'm not gonna knock the streamer. Like, if it's not well thought out, like, yeah, Like I'm gonna.
He
hold
definitely
him
should take a part of the blame for it, though. I think
part of it, but like the way that crowd showed up and the way they reacted was just like ridiculous. Like they were just like destroying shit. Like
yeah,
I gotta if you're excited to get a PS5, right?
no, they were
You're
just taking
excited.
advantage of the situation. That's all it was.
That's all people do every.
And if they want to make themselves look good, like Sanat and his management team, if they want to look good, they pay for the damages.
Yeah, I mean they're probably gonna have to, especially if he gets involved, if he gets charged with like inciting a riot. He's probably gonna pay. They're gonna have to pay for all the damages.
They should already be offering to do it.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
They should already offer it, make themselves look good, and then be forced to do it anyway.
Yeah. And I was thinking, like when I was watching it, I was like, if anyone won a PS5, they weren't making it home with that PS5.
No,
I think only one kid got one, and he probably got beat up, and someone probably took it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking of things that are going to get taken away from people, Jeff buys these cards. Number 10 on the headline: Magic the Gathering getting some really cool tie-ins. Assassin's Creed, Fallout, Final Fantasy are coming to Magic the Gathering.
Is that like?
Yeah, I think that's the Ezio card. That looks.
Yeah, it really does.
With half of 2023 behind us, Wizards of the Coast took the opportunity to announce the future of Magic the Gathering at its Gen Con 2023 panel. However, not only did the company reveal their plans for 2026, but it also confirmed 3 huge names for its ever-growing universes beyond portfolio: Assassin's Creed, Final Fantasy, and Fallout. Fallout will receive the Magic the Gathering treatment first. It will be represented through a set of Commander decks set to release March 2024. Following names like Warhammer and Doctor Who, the Fallout Commander decks will feature a mixture of brand new and reprinted cards, all featuring characters, enemies, factions, and locations from Bethesda's post-apocalyptic saga. Assassin's Creed will come next with a full booster set of spanning the entire AC universe. Will launch in July 2024. This set will include both new and reprinted cards, all featuring new Assassin's Creed themed artwork, and the new cards will be mechanically unique according to Wizards of the Coast. Assassin's Creed will be the second non-WOTC IP to receive a full booster set, as it follows the also recently released Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth. The last of the 3 video game-centric announcements was Final Fantasy. They will receive a full booster set expansion in 2025, with cards that will span the entirety of the mainline FF franchise. From the original game to the recently launched Final Fantasy XVI, the set will also be available for digital MTG players via Magic the Gathering Arena. Jeff, talk to me. How are you feeling?
Speechless.
He's speechless. He's left without words.
Yeah. Sorry. So I actually love this here. I do play Magic still a little bit. Haven't bought any new cards in quite a while. Just, the Lord of the Rings set wasn't for me and stuff like that. But the Fallout Commander set, I am absolutely in on that one. I can't wait for this Fallout set.
I mean, all of them, like Assassin's Creed.
The Assassin's Creed one
Fantasy,
is the one that really speaks.
Yeah, they all sound pretty cool. Final Fantasy has like so much potential for a lot of characters. Assassin's Creed, you can get all the main assassins. I don't know, sounds cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. They did really good on the art for the Lord of the Rings, but I'm just not a massive Lord of the Rings fan. So,
gotcha.
And who is it? What's his name? Post Malone. He wound up getting the One Ring card. There's a one of one. There's only one in the world that exists, and Post Malone has it. So
how much did he pay for it?
I don't know what he paid for it. I'm just glad it's in the hands of someone who actually plays the game and is a huge fan.
Yeah, so. That's crazy.
All right. Number 11 on the headlines. So today was actually a pretty big news day, Dev. Everything else that we have here today is today's.
Okay.
So pretty big day. First up, for today's news specifically, a collab has been announced for Street Fighter 6, TMNT, and Street Fighter 6 coming August 8th. Includes costumes of the turtles. I think that looks cool.
Yeah.
And then what else do we got? I believe it also said get radical with TMNT gear and emotes, new titles, stamps, in-game device wallpapers, camera frames, and photo. So I think this is a really cool little. I think this is a really cool update. Actually, it's a nice tie-in. It's one of my favorite games. Things about fighting games is just the amount of tie-ins. Yeah, where it's like.
I think they already announced Mortal Kombat, and those are pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if they announced anything for Tekken yet, but yeah, this is cool. Ninja Turtles for Street Fighter. It just feels like it fits as well.
Yeah, really. Next up, number 12, Square Enix, Devroro. Their share price dropped decent chunk, 15%. Publisher reported its Q2 2023 earnings on Friday, which stated that the revenue had increased around 14% year on year, but profits had dropped around 65%. When the Tokyo Stock Exchange closed on Friday, Square Enix share price sat at 6,366 yen. When it opened earlier today, however, the price had dropped to 5,560 yen and stayed around this figure throughout the day, dropping to 5,457 at the point. This is the lowest the company's share price has been since May 2022, and according to Bloomberg, its worst intraday drop in 3 years. Bloomberg also claims that one of the reasons for Square Enix's underwhelming financials is the launch of Final Fantasy XVI. The publication cites 3 separate sources who attended Square Enix post-earnings call, all of whom claimed President Takahashi Kiryu said the game's initial sales, in Bloomberg's words, did not meet the high end of the company's expectations. Kiryu also reportedly said that the slow adoption of the PS5 was also a limited factor in Final Fantasy XVI sales, and that the end of hardware shortages should open up the opportunity to boost software sales. So, Deborah, I want to ask you, because I have 2 avenues of thought here. So, Final Fantasy XVI, we can say, underdelivered for them and their expectations.
Which is surprising. I wasn't expecting.
I mean, we talked about the pre-orders being alarmingly low.
That's
so,
true.
I mean, the signs were there that this was going to happen. So, Deborah, I want to ask you, which of the 2, maybe both, maybe neither, reasons do you think this could be for? Now, obviously, avenue of thought number 1 is that it came from the exclusivity on PlayStation, as Square Enix says.
Mm-hmm.
They blame a low PS5 install base, which I would not call the PS5 install base low install.
Yeah.
First of all, that seemed like an excuse to specifically that line where it's like, oh, there's just not enough PS5s out there. I'm like, hasn't the PS5 already like outsold the PS4? If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on, but it's doing very well. So
I think it has to do with something that you mentioned earlier, a couple weeks back. But go ahead.
And my second train of thought is, could it just be that this game appealed to nobody? And I mean that in a sense that like people so it's an action. And if you're a Final Fantasy, you're looking at this game. This game is not for this game is not why you buy a Final Fantasy. It's kind of what I said earlier in the show, where it's like do new things in your games. But if you're gonna have an IP, a franchise, you need to try to stay true to the DNA of that franchise because you need to keep that core audience invested. That's kind of a big deal, and why franchises generally have better sales numbers because you know what you're getting into. So for Final Fantasy fans, this game's not for them because it's an action. And if you're an action game fan who does not like RPGs and you're looking at the name Final Fantasy, like Final Fantasy is the king of JRPGs.
But hasn't their last main title games, the last few, so like 4 or 5, been action games, right?
I mean,
you kind of knew what you were getting because the last 4 or 5 games were action
games. This was the first one that was very stark, like very strongly. Like even 7 Remake had RPG elements and they had tactical stuff. Like you had I think it was called the ATT mode. It's been years, but like where it slowed time down and you could kind of focus on your your tactics and stuff like that. So this was like the first Final Fantasy game that like didn't have anything.
Okay.
So my question to you is, do you think it could be either one of those be the reason, a combination of both?
Probably a combination, yeah. Okay. And also, I don't know, it's hard because the only thing I can think of that did something like this, Assassin's Creed, they went almost full RPG with their newer titles.
Right.
But yet Odyssey, or Origins I should say, still sold really, really well, and people still like that game a lot. They still talk about how much they like that game.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's I guess you can you can do something different, and I'd like when companies do something. I don't know if this counts as different because they've been doing it for years. I don't know.
See, I would push back and argue that Assassin's Creed has a little bit more mainstream than Final Fantasy, so I think that could help with Assassin's Creed shift. I don't know. For me, I do also think it's a combination of both. I mean, look, man, I mean, that Sony paycheck's only going to get you so far. And it could also be why we saw Xbox and Square Enix kind of agree to that new deal where it's like, hey, we're going to make sure Final Fantasy's on Xbox as much as we can. Like, there's reasons for that, you know what I mean? Like, both sides want to do business with each other so they can do more business.
But if the game didn't appeal to anyone on PlayStation, I doubt it would have brought that many more sales on Xbox. It would have brought more sales, obviously.
I actually have a disagreement with there. Well, I think that that's actually contradictory to what you have said about Xbox and JRPGs, where this could be a huge hit on the Xbox Final Fantasy 16 based off your logic.
Here, let me give you my input.
How are you pulling? Where are you pulling these strings from?
Well, your logic is. Well, hold on. Jeff wants to.
Yeah, go ahead. No, let you guys finish that thought first.
So my thought is about your thought is that you have said that Xbox and JRPG fans do not make.
That's not what I said, but continue.
It's basically what you said.
No.
So if they come out with this Final Fantasy and it's not a JRPG, by your logic, this game, if this is an action game, an action adventure, whatever you call a game, this game theoretically, based off your logic,
never become a lawyer because you're pulling stuff straight out your ass and you're connecting dots. Because I never said this.
We did this live. You can go back and look at the old episodes.
Yeah, I never said these things. I never said any of these things.
Well, no, you said the one thing about the JRPG. This
is that what I said? What else? What words did I? Go ahead, put more words in my mouth. Go ahead.
Anyways, if what you think is true,
no, don't tell me what I think. You don't even know what I think.
And you think Xbox gamers are more likely to buy an action Final Fantasy game, then this game would do very well based off your logic.
Oh, okay. That's what I think, guys. You heard it here.
So here's my thing. Now, I'm a PlayStation guy, right? You know that. I don't have a PS5 yet. I would have downloaded this if I had a PS5.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's just my quick input there.
And that's what they were saying. Like, do you not have a PS5 because you're not ready to change up, or
so?
Is it
when I had the money for one, I couldn't find one, and now that I can find one, I don't have the money for one.
Mm-hmm. I get it. So I think that's what they were saying. Like, PS5 has been in low demand, and they're hoping that when it's in better demand, they'll be able to sell more. So we'll see.
Yeah. But I'm just going off of what you've said.
That's not what I said, but okay.
It is what you said, but
it isn't though.
But it is.
But like, if you look it up, it's not what I said.
I mean, someone will have to.
Do you need subtitles? Put subtitles on. You can rewatch the videos. You can see what I said.
I remember what clearly because we disagreed.
You have a great memory.
I do. I really do. Speaking of great memory, or memory in general, number 13 on the list, we now have the Starfield download size and the preload date, which were both revealed by Amazon. It was revealed that Starfield download size tops out at a hefty 125 gigabytes on both Xbox and PC. And it'll be available to preload on August 9th, which is this Wednesday. So, Devroro, excited? Because I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm as excited as I can be. Like, I don't get hyped for games anymore because, there's always that disappointment.
That sounds kind of miserable. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's not my fault. The industry's done it to me.
I get it.
And like, I do think the game's going to be good. I'm just worried about the actual launch. That's the only thing that worries about.
Again, I think that's why they took the year off. I feel good about it.
Again, we always talk about games being too big, and yet we're able to defend this one for some reason. I don't know why, but
well, no. So here's the thing: I'm not defending the size of the game, but
that's a huge part.
I'm going to argue that it's going to be a great game regardless. Here's the Kingdom's massive game. It's the game.
I disagree with you. Sent me that video. Yeah, but the game is huge, but it's very manageable. This is 1,000 planets.
Well, so I would argue. Once again, your words.
Oh, okay. Tell me more of what I said.
Well, I think you did say the last thing too. But so we were having a discussion about games and like finishing games, completing games. And you made a good point where it was something along the lines of, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it is what it is. But it was just like, hey, like sometimes you just go in and you play a game till you're content with it and then you get out.
I agree.
And I think that Starfield is going to end up being that kind of game where it's just like, look, if you want to play this game for the next like 6 years, I'm sure you can. And it, like, me personally, what I am hoping to do with Starfield is I'm going to experience the main quest. I'm going to experience as many side quests as I can find. And I'm going to probably aim to try to get all the achievements. Okay. Now, is that going to be the entire game? Not unless there's an achievement that says go to every planet.
I hope not.
But
I would not be surprised if there was, but I really hope.
But as of right now, like, do I plan on going to every planet personally? No, I don't plan on going to. But again, like, that's just what you get out of it. If you want to go to each planet, like, cool, do that. And like, I just think it's really cool.
A lot of the excitement is how big it is, and that doesn't make me excited. There are other things that I've seen in that make me excited for the game. I think the shipbuilding looks pretty cool. I don't really care. Again, like having a game with 1,000 planets and then having base building, like that. Again, it doesn't make me excited. The the story stuff is what gets me excited. The actual gameplay of it excited. So I don't know. I'm still. We'll see. The space combat that looks really cool. There's a lot of really cool things about this game. So.
Yeah. So I want to go over to the chat real quick, and I want to ask Ty. So Ty, you said you have Starfield pre-ordered. Do you have it pre-ordered for like the special edition with the 5-day early access, or you just have like regular edition? I'd like to know. Curious, because like I said, excuse me, I have the special edition pre-ordered for. Well, it's not even special edition. I think it's called the like. I'm trying this out because this is a new thing that Xbox did. I think they did it with Redfall, but it comes with a steelbook case, which again for a physical collector, having that on the wall before I buy a disc, I think that's really cool because I have Game Pass, and then I'll have a case to put on the wall. Oh, and Ty applied for a key, so he'll have the 5-day early access.
Nice.
So there's that with the steel case. It comes with a bunch of premium content, extra content. And then again, you have that 5-day early access. So even though the game comes out September 6th, I'll be playing it September 1st, as will anyone that gets this edition.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? I think it's a fair price. It was priced at $35. And so like you're getting that 5-day early access, you're getting the steelbook case, and you're getting all that premium content. And I'm like,
for 35?
For 35.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good. And then so like that code that you get for that, it works for 5 days and then it deactivates. But at that point, it's available on Game Pass, and then I just shift over to my Game Pass. And I think that this would be a great, like a great middle ground, especially for someone like me who wants something physical to put in the shelf, but also still wants to benefit financially from Game Pass. You're basically telling me that like I'm getting extra content and a steelbook case for half the price of a game.
Yeah,
I think that's cool.
And
early access. Yeah, I'm all about it.
That is really.
So I'm looking forward to that. We are under a month away. I gotta try to keep it open. Number 14 on the news, Devroro. Just a terrible, terrible story. Absolutely terrible. So I had a long day at work today where like I didn't really get to be on the internet at all today. Like I was literally from like 6 a.m. to like 3 p.m. when I got home. I sit down and I load up Twitter and I see on Rockstar Games on Twitter, they say, on August 17th, the beloved Western experience, Red Dead Redemption, and its horror companion, Undead Nightmare, arrived together for the first time. And I see this and I'm like, holy shit, it finally happened. We have the remake. Or remaster. Announced. And I'm looking at the Twitter video, I'm like, oh, this doesn't really look different. I think this is regular Red Dead Redemption. And then I continue reading and see that it's only coming to Nintendo Switch. And they say modern PlayStation, first of all, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, why no Xbox? Well, as I looked into it further, Devroro, this is not a remake. This is not a remaster. This is a port of the original Red Dead Redemption, which, first of all, Red Dead Redemption, one of the best games ever made. I'm not knocking Red Dead Redemption as it stands. There's no PS5 version, so there's only a PS4 and Nintendo Switch version. So they say modern PlayStation, but they don't really mean modern PlayStation. They're talking about a last gen PlayStation. They're selling it for $50.
That's the part that's crazy.
That's the part that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's not upscaled, so there's no 60 FPS. They took the multiplayer out. It is just the single player portion of Red Dead Redemption for $50 in 2023 with no up-resing, no extra work done, no nothing. This did not come to Xbox because Xbox already has it available via backward compatibility.
Yeah.
And in fact,
who asked for
and in fact, I'll tell you right now, don't even bother with the PlayStation or Switch versions that have an Xbox Series X because based off Xbox's side of their backwards compatibility program, Red Dead Redemption is upscaled to 1080p and it runs at 60 frames via the Xbox. So the Xbox has a program that takes these old games and runs them better. And so the Xbox version of Red Dead Redemption, despite the fact that you're playing on a version that came out in 2010, it's going to run better than any edition that they released in 2023. I think that is absurd.
You can also get it for the one.
Well, but that's a 360 disc.
Or the
that release you're looking at came out in like 2012. It's a 360.
But I'm saying you can get it for up to $8.
Oh, okay. You're pointing out the price.
Yeah, you can get it for $8. Play it on your Xbox.
Yeah.
and not have to spend $50 for this exact thing.
Yeah, I thought this was an absolute, like, just terrible. And, like, when GTA 6 comes out, we're not going to be talking about it.
Yeah.
But I really feel the
Like I was
need...
saying, who asked for this? You know what I mean?
I feel the need to point out how terrible Rockstar Games has been since Red Dead 2 came. Because they put out the remasters of the GTA game. Terrible. They were god-awful. Like, completely terrible, broken. Even now, like, they got fixed, and they're playable, but they're still pretty broken, all things considered. And then you put out this Red Dead Redemption port, and I'm just, again, like you said, who asked for this? Like who in their right mind is going to spend $50 for these games? Like, I mean, I guess you could always argue with the Switch. It's like, it's got that portability, so
for
that's
the Switch, I get, but even then, that's $50 for this, and who knows how it's going to run on the Switch? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I mean, this was absolutely, like, just really disappointing news, and also kind of shame on Rockstar for, like, they're not dumb. They know people were hype about a possible remake. The news was spinning. Like, we were reporting on it, but everyone else was also talking. So, like, I thought that it was extremely poor decision making from Rockstar, especially if this is just a port. When that news started to turn, people started to get excited. Why did you not come out and just say, guys, here is what we have. It's a port, and, like, that's what it is. And, like, by not saying anything, you kind of just let the hype cycle build and build and build to a point now where, like, it's just disappointment, and it's just a bad decision making by Rockstar. I just don't know what the point of it was. Ty says, at Red Dead Redemption, I don't mind. It makes sense for the Switch. For PS, it doesn't. It'll go down in price, and for those that want to play Red Dead, can buy it cheap, no worries. And that's the thing, though. Like, if this was like a $20 download to just make it easier, I can get that.
Yeah.
This is $50. What work did you do to justify this being a $50 title?
Yeah, especially if it's a port. It doesn't.
It's a port. Yeah. They did nothing to it. It's nothing, and it's not upscaled. It's not up-res. They took the multiplayer out. Like, it's a less than complete edition of Red Dead Redemption. I don't know. I think it's terrible. Very disappointing from Rockstar Games once again. Speaking of disappointing, number 15 on the headlines, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is officially official. Finally has its release date of November 10th, 2023. The confirmation came today from a teaser trailer, which includes snippets of dialogue from Captain Price and Shadow Company boss Philip Graves, who said, "Never bury your enemies alive." Guess Graves survived the events of Modern Warfare 2 then.
So why is this a disappointment?
Because I think overall Modern Warfare 2 ended up kind of disappointing many people. And so that was just a nice little segment. Because I was very into Modern Warfare 2 when it launched. We reviewed it here on episode 2 of the podcast, if I recall. And since then, they failed to really keep the multiplayer updated and engaged. Warzone just got worse. And while I like the story of Modern Warfare 2 Remake, I think the original trilogy was better. So, I mean, they're great games, but, you know, I would say for me, my Call of Duty hype levels really took a hit this, because Modern Warfare 2 ended up very disappointing when all was said.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, Jeff, where are you at with Call of Duty?
I can care less right now.
There you go, see? Again, we both gave this game, Modern Warfare 2, I think Jeff gave it an 8 and I gave it a 9. I think, Jeff?
Yeah, when we first started, I think I was a 7.5, actually. I remember the bugs were pretty bad for me.
7.5 and I was an 8.5. That's what it was.
Yeah, it kept going downhill from there.
Okay. But even that doesn't, those sound like bad reviews.
No, they weren't bad reviews. We both thoroughly enjoyed the game. Then it just got worse. Which is weird, but I mean, I guess that's the way of the live service game get worse.
Is what it is.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna probably be picking up Modern Warfare 3. To be honest, I always do. I enjoy the campaigns, and I'm sure this campaign will be really good. I think they have slide canceling back, which is I'm not a fan of. I know some Warzone players
it's like,
are gonna
what's
like that.
the point? If you're gonna put slide canceling in a game, the reason I hate it is when I watch people play, all they're doing is sliding and sliding and sliding and sliding, and it looks so stupid. I'm like,
So
just
that
make
we're
them run faster. I could care less, dude. You know, it's weird. I don't know.
So, Deborah, just so I mean, I'm sure you can figure it out with context.
yeah.
So, slide canceling is a tactic that was in the original Modern Warfare remake, the original remake. So when you're running and you slide, you can cancel the animation of the slide, and that basically makes you move faster without having to leave the animation and not be able to shoot or whatever. That was gone in Modern Warfare 2, which was a good thing, but now they're bringing it. Unless you're like one of the pro streamers, it's not.
Gives me a headache watching the pros play, dude. It's horrible.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, we'll keep an eye on Modern Warfare 3. I'm sure we'll get more information on the multiplayer and whatnot in the coming months. So yeah, keep an eye on it. But that is it for the game headlines. Let's get into the releases for this week, the week of August 7th. First up, tomorrow, Gord comes out on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Tower of Fantasy also comes out on PS5 tomorrow. WrestleQuest comes out on PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on August 8th. 30XX comes out on Switch and PC on August 9th. Atlas Fallen comes out on PS5 and Xbox Series and PC on August 10th. The Sony money has run dry, and Stray will make its appearance and debut on the Xbox Series and Xbox One on August 10th. Stray Gods, not related, the role-playing musical comes out on Xbox Series, PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on the 10th as well. House Flipper comes out on PSVR 1 and 2 on the 11th. Then that is the release for the week. My pick this week is going to be for WrestleQuest. That is a pro wrestling RPG game. A lot of hype going in for that. I'm curious to see how much the game is priced at because there's no physical release, so I want to see. I have to double check on that. Like when I looked on the Xbox store, it didn't have a price on for some reason. That was 2 days ago. But you know, this game looks like a love letter to pro wrestling fans. A lot of recognizable names are in it: Jake the Snake, Macho Man. It was revealed today that Dave Meltzer and the Wrestling Observer guys, they're like the big wrestling insiders, dirt sheets in wrestling, are in the game via an Easter egg. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if I'm going to be picking it up right away, but that's my pick for the week. Jeff, do you have anything you want to add on WrestleQuest? Mm-hmm. Plus, it kind of has a retro vibe, which I think is really suited towards you. Yeah. Dev, do you have a pick for the week?
Probably Stray. I mean, Xbox. I haven't played it, so
It's depressing.
yeah, you told
It's
me.
it's a great game. Super depressing. Dever, you're gonna play it one day though, so I don't want to spoil it. We won't talk more about it. But you should play Stray if you haven't already. All right, let's get into the topic of the show. Deborah, there is a Pokemon Presents tomorrow.
I just yawned. That was for the presents that's coming tomorrow.
Announced via Pokemon's official social media, they said that the next Pokemon Presents arrives soon, trainers. Tune into our official YouTube channel at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern, tomorrow on August 8th for 35 minutes of Pokemon news and updates. So here's the thing. 35
Pokemon Sleep.
Look, hear me out. 35 minutes. That is the longest Pokemon Presents they've ever had. In the history of Pokemon Presents, these things have gone as short as 4 minutes. And I think the longest we've ever gotten is 21 minutes.
And that was last year was not pretty long, but last year was
Yeah, but the one that was 20 minutes was the one where they announced Arceus and I think Scarlet and Violet and a bunch of other stuff. That's a pretty heavy Pokemon Presents. So, Deborah, I want to ask you. Now, number one, if you're here for the Pokemon Presents preview, I will be doing a watch along and reaction video. I don't think it's going to be live tomorrow. I'm going to record it, though, send it to Jeff to edit it together, and he'll put it up, if he has time, hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow. So check that out. If you like reaction videos, I'm going to be reacting to it tomorrow. Keep an eye out for that. Please subscribe. But let's get into and talk about the likelihood of what we'll see at this Presents tomorrow. So I made a list of a few things, Deborah, and I kind of want to run through some things. I think some things are definites, some things maybe, some things long shots. First thing I want to say is, I want to ask you, do you think we're going to see the trading card game at this Pokemon?
I didn't come out yet, but didn't they have a collector's edition for the OG was like the 3-packs.
So they had the 151.
Yeah.
That's not the one that they showed at the last present. The one at the last presents, I forget what it's called. It's like Pokemon Classic or something like that.
Yeah.
We haven't heard anything about that. I would hope we hear something about that tomorrow, because that is a set that I am.
If they're going to talk about the trading card game, that's the only thing I think people would want to hear.
Yeah.
You know, where's that at? Because they announced it and they kind of just.
Right. So they had the Scarlet Violet 151. Now, Jeff, that's just the original 151, like a run of those cards, like for like a modern run.
I believe it means they're only using the original 151 Pokemon for this set.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm.
And it came with special edition of the Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur.
No, I mean that's gonna be with the classic.
Okay. I'm mixing the 151 and the classic. Then.
Yeah. Okay, so I actually kind of agree with you. I think that there's a chance. I mean, it depends on what we want to see. I mean, I want to see the classic.
Okay.
And I hope that we see. So, Devroro, the anime is starting up again. Do you think we're going to see anything from the Pokemon anime tomorrow?
It makes sense to show something.
Okay.
I don't know if you also had this on there. I was still interested in it. I know you weren't, but they announced the Netflix show as well. It was like a different art style.
Yeah.
Hopefully we see more of that too, because that looked pretty. To me, that looks pretty cool. I was, I like their animated stuff. They do. I think you do a lot of stuff on YouTube, but something Netflix is cool.
So here's something I think that we can both pretty much unanimously agree on that we're going to see tomorrow: Scarlet and Violet's DLC.
Yeah, that's a given.
Yeah, we saw a little snippet at the Direct, and I think that we'll definitely be seeing that tomorrow. I would expect a release date for the first pack. I would expect kind of maybe a little bit of a dive into it. I really hope that this presents is not a 20 minutes dive into the DLC. I don't need that.
It might be.
It might be. Again, for the record, we could be walking into that 35 minutes can be very misleading. If they really want to show a lot of this DLC off tomorrow, they will. I really hope they don't, because again, like the last Pokemon Presents that we reviewed for the pod and we rated it very low.
Yeah.
At least I did. That's you want to see the DLC, but I don't show me too much. I've already played Scarlet and Violet. I don't need to see a lot of the DLC.
Agree. People know what they're getting in stories.
Yes.
The more you show of it,
completely agree. Here's some curveballs. Let's see. Dever, do you think we see the next mainline Pokemon game tomorrow?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
I also don't think we do.
But I don't know if you have this on there. Maybe the next remake, Black and White, is the next on the list.
After I sent the script out, I did think of a few more. I was going to bring that up. But so yeah, remakes. You think we see a remake?
I hope we see Black and White.
That's what I want.
I'm really excited for that one. I don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe it'll just be the base game, Black and White. They probably won't do 2, but yeah.
So
I'm excited.
If I were them, and they wouldn't do this because it's too good.
Yeah,
I would do.
You would package it in together.
I would package Black, White, and Black 2, White 2 together as one package, and it'd be play you load it up and it's two different. Hey, pick which game you want to play. You want to play Black, White, Black 2, or White 2, and then you play it. I don't think they're going to do that, mind you, but it would be nice. Or at the very least, do Black, Black 2, White, White as a
something like that. Yeah.
But I don't know.
Have you guys seen this freeze frame of that little glitch that they play during the Presents thing?
Yes, a lot of people are speculating that has to do with Mewtwo.
I'm actually seeing people saying that it has to do with Colosseum. I mean, the M obviously, I guess, would lead people to Mew and Mewtwo, but what would the M have to do with Colosseum?
Who knows?
I just think that that's something that kind of hits the vibe. It seems like a very dark thing, and as we talked about previously, I think last week even, Pokemon Colosseum is the darkest Pokemon game, and it's something that I really love about Colosseum. And I would be very down for that as well. So I'm hoping for remakes. That's what I really want to see tomorrow. So that's what we want to see. Do you think we will see it?
If we do, I think it'll only be the Black and White because I think it's about time.
Yeah,
last year they had 3 Pokemon games at once. Was it last year? Or in a year?
No, you're thinking of the year before when they did
in a year's
Brilliant
time,
Diamond, Shining Pearl, and Arceus.
Yeah, in a year's time they had. Oh, I didn't even Arceus. I forgot about that. But in a year's time they dropped 3 Pokemon games, and there hasn't been any announcements for anything new. So I do think we're going to get a new game.
Mm-hmm.
A new game is or a remake counts as that as too. But
so my next question is: do you think we finally see Let's Go Johto, which is the Let's Go Pikachu Eevee, but the Gen 2 of that?
Yeah, that's possible too. I mean, that's probably like my least excited, you know, because I didn't like the Let's Go formula. But
see, the thing is, I find myself in a weird position with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee because you are correct, or I agree with you at least. I don't like the way you capture Pokemon in that game, but goddamn if that's not the best way to play Gen 1. It just is. It's
okay.
And I mean, maybe it's a hot take, but like those games are just made so well. They're modernized. Like,
don't get me wrong. I don't think if they do release that, I do think it'll be good. I think it'll sell a lot.
Gen 2 is the best gen, so like that's what I want.
I just don't. I wouldn't get it personally.
I would absolutely.
Yeah.
Give me Gen 2.
No, I love Gen 2. Gen 2 is my favorite. I just wouldn't get it because of the Let's Go.
I would suck it up and deal with it for the sake of Gen 2. Okay. Do you think we see the next Legends game? Like, the next in the Arceus kind of spin-off.
I do think that's coming. I do think it's too early for that.
Okay.
Yeah. I do think that's going to happen.
I think that's more likely than Let's Go.
Really? You think Arceus is more likely than Let's Go?
Well, Legends. I think that Legends is more...
Yeah, that's what I meant.
So, again, like a lot of people are speculating Mewtwo in that teaser. I think Legends Mewtwo could make a lot of sense.
Okay.
I mean, that's just some speculation on my part. Not obviously not a guarantee.
I was saying if they want to sell Switch 2s faster, they need a new Pokemon to gauge interest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have Pokemon releases every year, so I'm not super concerned about that. I'm sure that we'll see the next mainline Pokemon. So, do you think we see maybe some other spin-offs, some like Detective Pikachu that got announced at the Direct? Do you think we'll probably see some of that?
We'll see some of that, of course.
Okay.
Overall, I think keep your expectations low.
I think it's a fair thing to say about the Pokemon Presents. The Pokemon Presents are a real mixed bag because, again, I think back to like
we're going to see Pokemon Sleep. You're going to find out what Pokemon you are when you.
We'll probably see Pokemon Sleep, which I have zero interest in that.
Like, you want to find out what Pokemon you are when you're sleeping? No.
I remember reading. IGN did a.
I think you're like a Bulbasaur.
Oh, thanks. IGN did like a review, like a preview event with Nintendo, and like they were like, "This is like the weirdest preview event we've ever gone to." So we turned it into like a blog, like a vacation blogs kind of thing, instead of like a game preview. And like, he's like, "So here's what happened with Nintendo. Like, we went to the hotel. They gave us a kit which had like a phone, which had the game preloaded in it, and like, they were like, all right, go to bed." And so like the guy for IGN, he only slept 4 hours.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't sleep. And like all the other people looked at him like he was crazy. What do you mean for like 9 hours? Like that's what you were supposed to do.
Feels like a prank. It feels like the biggest prank ever. Try our new game. Go to sleep.
I have no interest in Pokemon Sleep though.
Yeah.
That being said, we'll probably see some sort of little advertising about it because we haven't really seen much. The Pokemon Go Plus came out.
Forgot about
like
that.
a few weeks ago. And like that kind of ties in with Sleep as well. So I guess we'll just have to see. I'm pretty hopeful that we don't see that, but I hope we don't see it, but I know we will. So I would agree with you. Go into it with realistic expectations, but man, is it hard knowing that 35 minutes. Last thing to see, I want to see if you think we're going to see it, because this is what I need to see. Devroro, will we get announcements for at least Gen 1 and Gen 2 coming to NSO? At least Gen 1 and Gen 2. Maybe they don't do Gen 3 right away.
I think that's a reach mostly because those games still sell really well. I mean, it makes sense that's all more reason to put it on your NSO. But I think that's the furthest reach of all of it. That's the
So the reason here's my little kind of like tinfoil hat conspiracy, and I don't think it's conspiracy. It's been pretty true in the history of the NSO. So the NSO launched in September of the year it came, and when people signed up for it, they signed up for a yearly membership because it was like $10 for a year. It went up a little bit now, or no, it wasn't 10 for a year. It was like 40 for a year. Now it's like 60. But every like August, September, they've given like the NSO like some pretty good games. And I think that like that year's coming around where it's September, and like if you want to keep a lot of those yearly renewals, like myself coming back, you kind of want to drop something big. And so that's my theory.
That would be very big.
My theory is that they're gonna drop Pokemon, and
OG Pokemon.
Yeah, it probably just Gen 1, but I would say hope for Gen 1 and Gen 2.
No, that'd be awesome.
And yeah,
I do think that's a big reach, but that would be really cool.
yeah. So, all right, Devroro, let's wrap it up with what would you say would be your ideal Pokemon Presents tomorrow? It's 35 minutes. Like what would you want to see to be like, damn, that was a 5-star Pokemon Present?
Honestly,
Or like to walk out of it being
5
like that was
stars was
great.
like-
Okay, let's rephrase that. Like walk out of it feeling great about.
see, like my expectations for this is extremely low. I don't need much to be hyped for this. Not
Mhm.
hyped, but like to be surprised by this.
Mhm.
But I would love to see just a little bit of everything we talked about. I mean, the biggest thing for me would be black and white.
Okay.
That'd be my like. That's what I want to see.
Mhm.
And maybe Legends Mewtwo. That sounds pretty cool. But black and white is what I want to see. That'd be like my. If I see that, it's automatic 5 out of 5 for me.
So what I would say, and again, being realistic, like not realistic, but being somewhat reasonable. For me, walking out of a great presentation tomorrow, I would like to see a black and white remake. I would like to see Gen 1 and Gen 2 come to NSO. Give me a like a decent little view, like a trailer for the DLC Pack 1. Give me the release date for the DLC Pack 1. And just because I know they're going to bring up something not video game related, show me the Pokemon TCG Classic set. That's what I want to see. So if we get something like along those lines, I'm happy. Feeling really good about the Pokemon presents.
You have this tendency, especially with Nintendo, to expect a lot from them.
I do.
To expect a lot of these things,
And I'm gonna.
And a lot of them are
Nintendo.
unfounded though, because it's like it's Nintendo we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I think you're setting yourself up to be a little disappointed, but we'll see.
So I would argue.
Just remember this next week when we're doing a review for the Pokemon Direct.
Sure. I would argue that yes, I will always expect a lot of Nintendo because I know what they're capable. So I'm never gonna feel bad about expecting a lot from Nintendo. I would argue that I expect more from Nintendo than I would expect from either PlayStation or Xbox separately, because I just know what Nintendo is capable of.
You know what they have in their vault.
Yeah, I know
They'll
what they
never
just
open
have.
that vault.
Someone lost the key.
Sometimes, yeah.
So the guy
that cracks open and something falls out, and then we get it. But like, yeah, they're very tight.
When Reggie retired, he brought the code with him for the safe.
Yeah, they hate money.
Yeah, guys, I'm out. Yeah. So that's our thoughts, our predictions for the Pokemon Presents. That's going to be tomorrow again at 9 a.m. Eastern.
I'm glad it's early because I can just, watch it at work or something.
Yeah, that's true.
35 minutes, take a break.
Sucks if you're on the West Coast though. 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I gotta get up and watch Pokemon.
I would not do that.
I watch because I'll watch like Kind of Funny and stuff, and like they do reactions for all of them, and they wake up at 6 a.m. for these reactions, and it's a lot. Ty says Nintendo is the perfect example of being so bipolar. Expect quality and stupid takes in the same breath.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, but I'm gonna continue to do that. Mm-hmm. Well, we'll have to see. Ty meant polarizing.
Is Mew or Mewtwo in Violet, Scarlet or Violet? It's not in.
No.
Yeah, so that I can see. Which people
that would be such a. I would be like,
I know.
Ugh.
That seems more plausible than a lot of the stuff we've been saying. Putting like
on the watch along tomorrow, you may
Mewtwo,
see me just get up and just walk away. It's like if that's the biggest thing that they got is just like I'm just gonna be like, fuck.
Yeah, that sounds like.
I'm sure there has.
Yeah, a new version of Mewtwo for a raid. I can see that happen.
I just have an itch to play Gen 2. It's been a while. It's been a minute. Give me what I want. Just break the remake
The cycle.
It's like, oh, Gen 5, but you know what? Gen 2 again. Like just remake Gen 2 every 10 years and I'll be fine with that. I wouldn't complain. Ty says, I do think the Switch 2 has a lot of potential to receive a lot more games. Star Wars Survivor is being ported to old gen, so is Harry Potter. So Switch 2 should definitely be getting these games too. I would assume so.
I agree.
I think it's a safe assessment. Well, all right. I think that is gonna just about do it for us here.
I think it's for like people who sleep like Mewtwo. I think that's what it's for. When you go to sleep, you might get a Mewtwo Pokemon if they're adding that as an update. Cool. Just make sure you keep your Pokemon your Pokeball Plus Plus near you, and
it's gonna be a bad show tomorrow, isn't it?
yeah, we'll see.
Oh, I am ready to be hurt once again by Nintendo. Anyways, well, this has been episode 35 of the Game Room Podcast. Thank you to everyone hanging out with us here tonight. Ty, as well as Purpleness was here. Joshua Sturt, if you're still here, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Make sure you like and subscribe on your way out if you haven't already. So that way you can be notified when the video goes live. Hopefully tomorrow. Not going to put that on Jeff. Of the reaction video. See if it comes out when Jeff has time. Also, make sure you subscribe, become a member, so you can get the really cool game cabinet.
The Day Trading Doge just jumped in.
Oh, is Day Trading Doge here?
Have a good night as well.
Yes, hello, Doge. How are you?
Good night, baby. Yeah.
Doge shows up at the perfect time as I'm plugging the membership. You can get the super cool arcade cabinet badge that the Doge is currently rocking in the chat, as well as exclusive emojis made by Jeff, the Adam Cole, Orange Cassidy, CM Punk, and the Acclaimed. Also, if you like video games, been here the whole time. What's up, Doge? Thanks, man. Appreciate that. So yeah, subscribe, become a member, like, subscribe. If you like pro wrestling, we will also be back on Wednesday night with our AEW Dynamite review. You can follow us in our social medias down below, except for Devroro. He does not want to be followed. Do not follow him. Deborah, what would you do if someone was following?
I live a boring life, so walk them along.
Oh, okay. We'll see you guys next week. Well, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right. Later.